Okay, hello everybody. Howdy. Continuing on with personal protection for the believer, today we're going to discuss chain of force. You will also hear this referred to as the pyramid of force or ladder of force. Either way, we're discussing how force escalates in the different types of force. So today is the chain of force. As we discussed before, there are two basic types of force: physical force and deadly physical force. These two are part of a chain and are the last two links at the end, which we want to avoid using at all, if possible. The first link in force is presence. Now, you'll see this if you search it out for law enforcement or National Guard, peacekeeping type situations, where they say that the officer's presence, just their physical being in a situation, is a use of force in and unto itself. For most people in the civilian world, we are not in a uniform. We don't have this automatic intimidation factor of a uniform with a badge or a military uniform with a rifle that we're toting about, but we still have a presence. Now, there has been tests done where they interviewed like 1,000 or 1,500 inmates in prison that were sentenced for violent crimes, right? Or crimes against other people, not necessarily violent, but crimes against other people. And they showed them hundreds of photographs of people. And they asked them one simple question: who of these people would you choose as a victim? And it was pretty much unanimous, right? So the people that weren't looking at the camera, the people who were slunched down and trying to hide their existence, the people who didn't want to interact in these photos, were the people universally chosen as victims. The people that were making eye contact with the camera, the people who were standing up straight, the people paying attention, right, at your surroundings. Look around you. These are the people that made poor victims for these criminals. When you are in public and you're walking around, make eye contact with people, right? Hello. Hi. Good morning. Hey, how are you today? You know what you're really telling them? I see you. I see you. I can identify you. I know you're here. So that's what your presence is as a regular, everyday person. Use it. Right? Stand up. You're a child of the Most High. What are you hiding? Kind of already got into our second link. It's verbal communication. Now, why? Hello. Hi. Good morning. Beautiful evening, isn't it? While that is a verbal communication, this is more specifically addressing what we mentioned in passing before. You can see that somebody's up to no good. Hey, what do you want? Loud. Remember, you're getting the attention of all these people that are in condition white. that are unaware. You're getting their attention. And now you've got this person's attention too. Now they're saying, oh, wait, maybe this isn't such an easy mark. Get away from me. I do not know you. Back off. You're never going to look as ridiculous in public making a jerk out of yourself as the mortician is going to make your body look. It's always an option prior to the third link and after 2. If we can try to retreat. It's always an option that we can try to retreat. That is attempt to extricate yourself from a scenario where you or someone you love may get hurt or die. Now, seriously though, there are things that happen. Why are you putting yourself in that situation? Why, if you want the best rye bread in town and it's downtown and they're holding demonstrations downtown, why are you going downtown? Seriously. If I want the best tortillas in town, I got to go to unsavory neighborhoods sometimes. I don't go right when they open at 4 a.m. I wait till a little later. If you answer a Craigslist ad and they want you to meet, behind the old factory next to the rail yard, what are you doing? Don't put yourself in a situation that's obviously not going to benefit you. You have to use your head, right? Wise as a serpent, gentle as a dove. You also need to remember our escalation of force. Physical force or deadly physical force may not be used against words or nonviolent actions, e.g., exemplia gratia, certain stand your ground claims. Now, the reason I put this in here, Florida has a stand your ground law. They've had a couple of really messed up cases. The one that jumps out pertaining to escalation of force. An older man in his mid-60s was at a convenience mart gas station, getting gas. A carload of teenagers pulled up, blasting music that this old guy didn't like. Right? He yelled at them, "Turn that down right now." Well, they got verbal with him. "Shut up, you old effing man," or whatever. They were disrespectful and everything. And so he shot one of them and killed them. That is not a justifiable use of force. And he's going to be spending the rest of his old man life in prison. I mean, hands down, there's no arguing that. He's going to die in there. Even if they didn't give him the death penalty. Know your state's laws or the laws of the states where you're going. Now, calling 911 may be advisable prior to an escalation of force to physical force or deadly physical force if you cannot retreat. All calls are recorded. If you're going to be one of these unintelligent people who calls 911 because you're being oppressed, and then they record you saying, "Go ahead, punk, make my day." Well, you just gave the state everything they need to prosecute you. Everything is recorded on 911. Pay attention. So our third link is physical force. This is where things start getting sticky. Your size, your ability, your speed, your agility, all that comes into play here. Okay? A little old lady who is told by a 5'10" young man in his 20s to give her purse over, and that she just cashed her Social Security check, and she resorts to using deadly force against him, she is going to be seen much more favorably than that same young man in his early 20s trying to rob somebody who's 6'3" and 250 pounds with no fat, that immediately goes to use deadly force, and especially if they have a background in being trained. It will all come into play at some point. It needs to be thought about. But you're better off doing the training and getting out of the situation and dealing with lawyers and courts than you are being dead. That's my opinion. Even without weapons, even designed or improvised, physical force may be deadly in nature due to events and circumstances unknown to you. Give you a really good example. You've had a bad day at work, you get into a shoving match with an older man who started the confrontation with you at a gas station over a gas pump. I know somebody that this happened to. You shove them, they stumble backwards and hit their head. But unknown to you, he's on blood thinners. And now he's hit his head and he dies because you shoved a person. Was that deadly force? Not to begin with, but it turned into it. There's any number of those situations, right? You could punch a hemophiliac that had a bad day. You could punch a young person that has an aneurysm that's getting ready to burst. You can punch a young person and it catches their neck just right. And now they're paralyzed for life. Physical force may well be deadly force, deadly physical force. Train, train, train. Our final and hopefully avoidable link is deadly force. Deadly force is the one that opens the big can of worms. When you resort to using deadly physical force intentionally, and let's say you're 100% justified in the eyes of the law on paper, that refers to criminal justification, right? No criminal charges will be brought against you. You can still be sued. You can still be prosecuted maliciously. We're seeing that right now. We're seeing people in September of 2020 being prosecuted maliciously for political reasons. You had better, and I told this to all my classes. I will lose everything. I will lose my health insurance, my retirement, whatever savings, my house, my cars, in order to be able to afford a good defense attorney. Because the public defender isn't going to cut it. They get the same paycheck as the prosecutor. They get paid by the same source. You had better be prepared to lose your professional reputation, your social standing, everything. To be frowned upon by the other parents at your children's school, the other parishioners at your church. Thou shalt not kill. You killer. All right, again, they couldn't smell that other person's breath. They were squeezing their hands around your neck. But they're certainly going to have a judgment on it. So these are the links in your chain of force. Now, everything thus far has been pretty negative, and it can be. Is every situation like that? No, but expect the worst. Hope for the best, but expect the worst. And if the worst happens, you won't be disappointed or surprised. But you'll be pleasantly surprised if it goes better than you expect. Right? Some people never even get put in handcuffs. Depends on what, when, and where. So next, we will discuss castle doctrine and stand your ground. They're very similar. I'll be basing the whole conversation off of Arizona state law. Just because it's called a stand your ground law or a castle doctrine law doesn't mean it is under Arizona state law. Your laws vary and differ greatly. Trust me on this. All right. I love you all. Talk very soon.